Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Cool. Yep. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
We're live.
So sorry. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the 2020 iF3 Continental Cup Finals. This is our team division. Joining me today is Anders Bergman, all the way from Malmo, Sweden, and I am Ryan Jarvis from Vancouver, Canada. Welcome, everybody.
Hi, Ryan.
All right. What are you expecting here today, Anders?
Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight. The Norwegians, they dominated the qualifier last weekend. Also, reigning champions. They've won twice in a row, so they're going to be tough to beat. But looking forward to see what Argentina and Puerto Rico can do as well.
All right, we got here: Australia, Egypt, South Korea, Argentina, Puerto Rico.
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals. This is the teams test 1. This is the endurance test. Now, before the start of your competition, you will need to state who is male athlete 1, who is male athlete 2, who is female athlete 1, and who is female athlete 2, and you must stay in that order throughout every single one of the tests. At the start of this endurance test, this test is a 4K row time trial, completed as male athlete 1 rows 1K, male athlete 2 rows 1K, female athlete 1 rows 1K, female athlete 2 rows 1K. Your score is your time for all 4 athletes to complete their 1K. See you in the next one, guys.
All right. Once again, Ryan Jarvis here, joined by Anders Bergman. And we have test number 1 for our teams, the endurance test. This is quite simple. It's a 4,000 meter combined team row. Athletes will go in order. Male athlete 1 will row for the first 1,000 meters, handing it off to male athlete 2, then female athlete 1 and female athlete 2, combining for 4,000 meters on the Concept 2 rower, and they will have a 17-minute time cap. Who are you looking for as one of the favorites here, Anders?
Yeah, like I said, I think the Norwegians are going to be tough. They have, for starters, they are starting off with one of their smaller athletes, which is not a benefit on the row. But then they had 2 pretty ladies on the rower for later on, so they're going to be tough. We had some issues with the South Korean video, so that's why they're not moving at all, but we get the scores in eventually.
Awesome. Looks pretty good here. Again, 17-minute time cap here. Notice throughout the Continental Cup that we always look off with the endurance test, get the athletes warmed up pretty good. 17-minute time cap, and for stronger male athletes, they can do a 5K in about 8 minutes. Sub 18. Looking at the team fresh, each athlete doing 1,000 meters. Said strongest guy we saw at the CrossFit Games, the 1,000 meters. We saw a lot of sub 3 minute 1,000 meters. So some of these athletes are going to be able to really leave it all out there. They're probably not going to go with their max effort for the 1K, but they will probably try and go about that 95% so that they're not absolutely crushed for the next event. They only have about a 13-minute rest from the completion of this event until test number 2 starts. So again, like Anders was saying, the Norwegian team with 2 strong female rowers, that is a huge benefit. So we're looking definitely for Norway to be one of the top teams here in the endurance test. We see.
Yeah, like we said, the taller athlete is a good one. You can see in the Swedish team now is Oscar Anderson. He's running at a 1:33 pace over 500 meters. So that's gonna, we expect him to be done in a little bit over 3 minutes.
That's what the guys are definitely hoping to do. The ladies are going to be closer to the 3.5 minute mark. Probably would be a top end for the ladies. So kind of see again, it's the sum of all parts here. That's what this team event is. All 4 athletes are going to be working. So can't hide maybe a smaller athlete. As I was talking with Gretchen in the ladies, definitely favors the taller athletes, the stronger athletes, as they will get a little more meters per stroke. But a lot can be said for very good, efficient rowing technique, Anders.
Yeah, and as we see now in the scoring, we see Sweden was the first team to switch, just followed by France and the US. They were virtually the same for the first athlete done. I guess everybody's done now. So Sweden, France, and USA in the top. That's a good start. And like we said, Norway had the shorter athlete as a starting athlete, so they didn't get off to the best start. But now they have 3 really strong rowers.
And we'll definitely see. As I said, the European teams should be the ones to beat in this first opening test for sure. Norway, Sweden, and the third team coming out of the Western Europe region is France. Again, that was a very tough region to get out of. Our 3 from the America are the United States, Argentina, and Puerto Rico. Then we have Hungary representing the Eastern Europe. We have South Korea, Egypt, and Australia representing Asia, Africa, Australia. Those are our 10 competing teams here that you can see on the screen. Again, this is kind of what we're left with this pandemic that we're all dealing with, but it's great that we can see what each team does that is competing. And
we actually had Brazil that was qualified on the prelims, but they unfortunately have to cancel the final because they had shut down, so they couldn't be part. So that's why we invited Puerto Rico to join the final instead.
All right, yeah, it's just what we're dealt with. We saw during the World Cup, a few of the Masters and juniors had to withdraw due to full shutdown. So, but we're glad that we have 10 teams competing here today. Again, the Norwegian team is looking like the team to beat. They're in the bottom left of your screen, bottom there. Team Sweden right next door to them is also going to be pushing for this. But Norway and Sweden, definitely the 2 teams to keep an eye on. Don't count out France as well. They're another strong team. So the 3 Western European teams are the teams to beat there. Anders, your thoughts?
Well, it looks like what we predicted. You can see from the wee timer on most of the screens that the guys are at about 130, 135, most of them. So we can see that's Tim Holmgren from Sweden. He's at 131, 132, same with Norwegian athlete as well. So they're pretty much doing what we're expecting them to do right now.
Definitely the Norwegian team seeming to be the team to beat. They are the 2-time defending champions of the World Championship team event. So I'm surprised that they are leading the way here in test number 1. We are on athlete number 3.
So we actually get ahead of Sweden for that second exchange. So France ahead of Sweden. Norway caught up on 4th place now. Just behind the US. So Sweden, France, Norway, US, that's what we expected, and it's looking good so far. So now we have the ladies on, and we can see that for the Norwegian team, they're down at 145, 147 over 500 meters, which is a pretty good pace. If they can keep that for the entire 1,000 meters, that's going to be a good time. 500 meters.
All All right, so we are now at the 7:08 mark. Again, teams looking to be finishing around. We're going to guess maybe sub 14 for the top teams here, maybe sub 13 and a half, depending on how quickly they can get done. So we're now on the back half. Norway, France, Sweden, US, teams to keep an eye out. Norway, again, as we had said, they are the two-time defending champion, looking to get that three-peat. So definitely want to keep an eye on them. Very good athletes out of Norway. And it seems like the Icelandic team is very great when it comes to the endurance workout, Sanders. Any reasoning or thoughts behind that?
Not really. I guess we're, when it comes to northern countries, we're used to a lot of, skiing, skiing, skating. So, running in the dark forests of the Nordics. So I guess that's why.
Be interesting to see how this would be if it was on one of the skiers. Might even tip the scales even further than it is now. So we'll see what the other teams can do. Norway again, right up there near the top. Sweden, those are the teams you want to focus in on. We have all of our Western European teams on that second row from the bottom. Then Hungary representing Eastern Europe on the bottom row. The Americas teams, USA, Argentina, and Puerto Rico on the second row, and our Australia, Africa, Asia teams, South Korea, Australia, and Egypt at the top. Like that, seeing the teams all with their same shirts on. The Egyptian team looking good in the red up there. We're passing about the 9:25 mark. So teams are getting on that final leg now.
I think Norway has about 100 meters. Sweden has less than 100 meters, so it looks like Sweden is actually catching up on first place. So France is slightly ahead by 10, 15 meters. It's going to be a close one.
See who can get off their rower first here to make that final switch. It's going to be interesting. And there it is, France making the switch now.
And Norway.
Oh, at the 10-minute mark. This should be an interesting final 1,000 meters now. Norway, Sweden, and France. USA right behind them.
Yeah,
Argentina.
That's going to be a close one. This is going to come down to a few seconds from, every here and there. So it's going to be really close. It's kind of funny what you mentioned before with the Norway being double times champions, because Sweden has actually been took the second place 3 times in a row. So we started off by getting beaten by the US over in San Francisco back in 2017. And then the Swedish team got second in London behind Norway, just 1 point behind Norway in the total. And also last year in when we had the World Championships in Sweden, that we came in second place just behind Norway. So 3 silver plates for Sweden and 2 golds so far for Norway.
Sweden hoping to finally get on that top spot of the podium here in 2020, the Continental Cup. But it's going to be a tall order to knock off this powerhouse Norwegian team. We're about 11 minutes, 20 seconds into test number 1. And we have about a 4-way battle here for first. It's honestly a coin flip on who can row this last leg best. Norway, Sweden, France, and the United States, and even Argentina's in the mix. So depending on who can leave it all out there and possibly shave 1 or 2 seconds off of their maybe a PR time, we may have a surprise here in test number 1.
Absolutely. So Norway, they have their strongest athlete now. They got Matilda Garnes. She's doing 144, 145 with ease. She's going to be able to keep that pace probably the whole way. I can see the US team is also doing well. But France is a few meters behind right now, but I think they're going to catch up as well.
We're in the final. It's going to be the final 300-400 meters, I would guess now, judging by how this is where they are when they got on. They got on about the 10-minute mark is when the final athletes started to get onto their rower here. So kind of see how this plays out.
250 for Norway, 250 for Sweden.
And here we're going to see the judges' hands going up. And this is going to be an interesting finish. I would love to. Wish we had all the teams, like all of us. We all wish we could get teams together in the same spot to really have an idea of how close they are.
That's why about on-site action to see the race to the finish button. That's always a fun thing to watch. So 50 meters for Norway. It looks like they're slightly ahead.
And here,
yeah, there it is. Norway first. Yeah, they're
13.
Sweden in second place.
4 seconds behind. Wow, it definitely was close whole way. France, United States.
Argentina sneaks in just 1 second ahead of the US.
All right, Argentina getting 4th place points now. So
you see that there's 1 second France, Argentina, and US. It's just 1 second in between them. 37, 38, and 39.
Wow, this is very tight. 4,000 meters coming down to that small of a time. It's quite impressive.
That could actually just be a switch. How fast you switch between athletes. If you're like really, saw some teams that actually handed the handle to each other, and some just put it down on the rower and then picked it up. So it could be really that close. So we only have Australia left to go. They have about 50 meters to go. No, I think they're done. Yeah, they're done. Good job.
Right. Yeah, so there's our 10 teams all in. We will get a visual here shortly of the leaderboard, but that is test number 1. And as we've seen in the past, we're going to follow it up, go from endurance straight into our test, our strength test. And there we go. Our scores after test number 1, and our Norwegian defending champions are still sitting atop the leaderboard with getting that single point for the victory, 4 seconds ahead of Sweden and 13 seconds ahead of France, who finishes 3rd.
Yeah, that was a close race.
All right, we will have a demo for test number 2 coming up here shortly.
Passing them in that circle with my boys, roll the weed and this is it. Line up these trees like a forest fire, we're smoking the bear hat. Preacher trying to top it, we ain't really trying to hear that. It's a little teenage angst with some ignorance, and every chance we get, these kids will get belligerent, cause they'll be no better in this world, we unprepared. Cause peer pressure strong and it was never cool to care about the consequences. Flash 4 or 5 years and the story. the ball, it's over, call it close, but we all know what this is gonna be. You came to fail the test, you met the best, expected chess, but got monopoly. I came and bought you out, I knocked you out, I cropped you out with no apologies. I am the hope, the heart, the faith, the spark, the one who will fulfill the prophecy. I just been counting, never lounging, climbing up mountains, bouncing back. Step in the ring, about you step back. They'll learn hot when I get on the track. I like it louder the most. Watching all these shit just bow down to the goat. If I can't decide, I'ma probably get both. We done celebrate, but right now I'm a toast. Resurrected ghost.
Outside, outside, everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime. Put my team on, they gon' shine when I shine.
We can take this outside, outside. Hey.
Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide.
Yeah.
I ain't letting nobody stop me this time.
Nah.
Every single level that I reach and I climb.
They ask, are you from outside, outside?
Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime.
Nah.
Put my team on, they gon' shine, I shine.
Yeah, we can take this. You are just not on my level. I keep my foot on the pedal. I set the tone, I don't settle. I can put fear in the devil. You are just not on my level. I keep my foot on the pedal. I set the tone, I don't settle. We can take this outside, outside. Hey.
Looking at the stars, staring with my mouth wide.
Yeah.
I ain't letting nobody stop me this time.
Nah.
Every single level that I reach and I climb.
They ask, are you from outside, outside?
Everything around me I create with my mind. Working too hard, I don't want no downtime.
Nah.
Put my team on, they gon' shine, I shine.
Yeah, we can take this. You are just not on my level. You are just not on my level. You are just not on my level.
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals, Teams Event 2, the Strength Test. This test will be completed by all 4 athletes. The 2 males will be one pair, the 2 females will be a second pair. Your workout is 30 overhead squats for time at 95 kilos for the male pair and 70 kilos for the female pair. There will be 2 separate bars set up. Each pair will be completing 15 reps each. One pair must complete their 15 reps before the other pair gets to start their 15 reps. So for example, the 2 males will complete 15 reps at 95 kilos, broken up however they please between them with no minimum work requirement. As soon as they have done their 15 reps, the 2 females will commence their 15 reps for time. Same deal, no minimum work requirement between those 2. Once all 30 reps is done, your score is your time or the completed reps in the 10-minute time cap.
All right, welcome back to the iF3 Continental Cup, our team division final. We are on test number 2, the strength test. This is going to be quick. 30 overhead squats for time. The men are going to work together as a pair and the women are going to work together as a pair. The men must do 15 of the 30 overhead squats and their weight is 95 kilograms or 210 pounds. Once they've completed 15, they will hand off to the other pair. Ladies are doing 155 pounds or 70 kilograms. So teams have the choice of starting their men first or women first, but it is 15 overhead squats for the men and 15 overhead for the ladies, and no minimum work requirement, Anders.
No, as you said, just saw that the Norwegian team, their male athlete did all 15 unbroken. So they're with the Argentina team, they just had one athlete do all 15.
And we quickly got a bunch of teams finishing all 15. That was very fast. Now we got most teams leading off with their men, it seems like. Now the ladies are onto the bar. I think every team has started out with the guys, Anders.
Yeah, everybody started with the guys in there. Oh, Argentina has done 1 minute and 6 seconds. They did 15 and 15 unbroken. Wow, that's amazing.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah. Norway came in second place, 1:17. I think they switched the athletes. Matilda Gardner, she did about 10, then they switched. So that's probably those 10, 11 seconds they lost.
That is impressive, though. 11 seconds, even with the switch, I don't even think that they'd be able to make that up. That was impressive. We have 6 teams done now. Again, your test 2 winners are Argentina. 1 minute, 6 seconds to complete those 30 heavy overhead squats. That is extremely impressive. Puerto Rico now in.
Yeah. It's a really good effort. I mean, these barbells are heavy, and getting them overhead like that and keeping them for 15 reps, that's impressive. So you got Hungary and Australia. They're the teams left to go. I think Australia only has a couple of more reps. But like you say, it's a really close one. I mean, 106 and second place, Norway 117, and then third, US 127. Egypt just 1 second behind the US again, 128, and then Sweden came in 4 seconds later. So it's really between first and second and fifth place. It's only 15 seconds, so it's really close call. Australia's done as well. Came in 230. I think the Hungarian girls are struggling a little bit with these weights. We'll see how they manage.
I guess athletes have the choice if they want to squat snatch it into position, or else they can clean it and press it overhead and then rack it on their shoulders, or as we see there, split jerk and now try and maintain that position. The only thing when you split jerk it, it's tough to split jerk and have your hands wide enough so that you have the shoulder mobility to go down to that full range of motion for the overhead squat. So it's kind of a tough balance to go here. You see her hands look quite narrow, and that was it. So the Hungarian ladies are having a bit of an issue with the 155-pound overhead squat.
Yeah, we just saw that the athlete, she came down, but when she at the bottom, she couldn't keep the weight above her head, so she dropped it. She touched her arm or elbow on the left side, so she might have a small injury in the elbow that prevents her from doing that repetition.
See, Anders, I find that's quite a narrow grip. Again, if you have the mobility that you're able to get that full depth and can get the shoulders far enough back, that narrower grip can be extremely beneficial, but not a lot of people have the shoulder mobility to keep the arms back with such a narrow grip for that overhead squat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you keep it that narrow, then it's not going to be as heavy on your shoulders, so it's basically going to be more of a core thing. And also, like you said, if you have that shoulder mobility, it's going to be a good big advantage.
Here, even the clean is starting to become tough for our athlete here in the green from Hungary.
Yeah, this is actually where this is you've seen several times where when you turn up in a place like this, if you have a crowd around you, then you would get the cleanup because the crowd would help you out. Now these athletes, they're all alone in their gym. They don't have any crowd, so building that extra strength is going to be really tough on them. Yeah,
it's appearance. So I think you're right. So about 5:50 and in. Again, athletes have 10-minute cap though, so they're still working away. They're going to try and definitely get all 30 reps in the books. Not quite sure how many they have left at this point. But athlete here with the black top on seems to be the stronger of the two athletes. So it looks like she's going to attempt now to get that bar back overhead and try and complete the last few reps. And she does. She's locked out. I'm going to start her next reps here.
She needs to take a big breath and build that stability in her chest to keep it up. She's struggling, and she's almost on the border on the depth. So but her TO is close enough to make the call. So there you go.
All right, that is not quite it. Here we go. See if we can finish things off here for the Hungarian team.
No, she got it out.
Oh, and Clean up now. Maybe we'll be able to get a rep or two here. However many they got left, they are near the end of it. All right, she's locked out. No problem with depth there.
Yeah,
And it
she
looks
got
like
it. That was
there
last
we
one.
go. Team's in.
Well done.
All right, now we'll see how our leaderboard shapes up here. Again, test 2 win going to Argentina, so that's going to definitely help their cause. And Norway still leading the way, 3 points at first and second, but Argentina, that is a massive, massive test for Argentina, moving into second now, 5 points. And Sweden still sitting in that podium spot in third. The United States at 8 points. It's 1 point off the podium.
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals, Teams Event 3, the bodyweight test. This one will be completed by all 4 athletes. The workout is 30 strict ring muscle-ups, 50 strict deficit handstand push-ups to a 3-inch deficit, followed by 70 strict pull-ups. The flow of this event is athlete number 1 does strict ring muscle-ups. As soon as they come down from the rings, athlete number 2 then starts. As soon as they come down from the rings, athlete number 3 makes their way on, and then athlete number 4 makes their way on. You must stay in this order. You must then stay in this order to complete the 50 strict deficit handstand push-ups, and then stay in that order again for the 70 strict pull-ups. So you change athletes when you come down off that movement or finish that set of movements. Now, you cannot change the order throughout this piece. You must stay in that exact same order throughout. If an athlete cannot complete a repetition, that is fine. They must show that they are having an attempt to be able to then rotate to the next individual. This one has a 20-minute time cap. I'll see you in the next one, guys.
All right, welcome back, everybody. This is test number 3 in our team division finals for the 2020 iF3 Continental Cup. This test is body weight. So for this test, we have a 20-minute time cap. Athletes as a team, all 4 athletes working, they must complete 30 strict ring muscle-ups as a team, then 50 strict deficit handstand push-ups to an 8-centimeter deficit or 3-inch deficit, and then they must complete 70 strict pull-ups. Now, the key things here is athletes must go in a particular order. They must go male 1, then male 2, then female 1, and then female 2. You must maintain that order. And the other thing is all reps and sets must be unbroken. So as soon as an athlete breaks a rep, they must go to the next athlete. So I guess, Anders, here, what we're looking at, 2 key words here, one being strict and one being unbroken.
Yeah, that's a part of the strategy here. So you can, if you get a no rep, then you have to switch and you have to wait until the other 3 athletes has done their sets before you can go back on the rings in this case, or a wall or pull-up bar. So it needs to be stricter. You can see here there's the Norwegian athlete who is not Matilda. I was wrong before. That's actually Ingrid Hodnemyr, who is the dark-haired Norwegian athlete. This is Anders Grønsund now. He won the 30 to 35 men's division in World Cup a couple of weeks ago. He's a great athlete as well. Here you can see Tim Holmgren and Ellen Eriksson of the Swedish team working on their strict muscle-ups. They're just doing, so Ellen was just doing a single. Angelica Bengtsson, she did just a single. Oscar Anderson, tall and heavy athletes, strings it together with a couple of reps.
Very good strategies you see some of these teams employing, working both sets of rings. And we already have teams on to the deficit handstand push-up. We've seen Team Norway there, then early lead, Anders.
Yeah, it looks like it. They're already done with their muscle-ups, so they're on the wall now doing their handstand push-ups. And the same strategy goes here. You have to do it unbroken, and you have to do it strict. So whenever you've come down or you get a no rep, you have to switch to another athlete.
So in case anyone's kind of curious at home, if an athlete comes down and their feet come behind where their arms are, they must pause again at the bottom of the hang before they're allowed to go up and do another strict muscle up. So absolutely no help, no momentum, knees may not bend. They're not allowed to get any sort of kip from that, from their hips for the strict muscle ups. That is probably the biggest standard that we got to deal with for the strict muscle ups. For the handstand push-ups, again, same thing. Hips and knees must be locked. The heels must be in contact with the wall at the bottom and the top of the rep. And we see a few more teams now transitioning over to the wall, working on their 50 strict deficit handstand push-ups.
You can actually see Norway's already done with their handstand push-ups and they're on the pull-up bar. They make quick work. So they got to do a good strategy because they are using 4 different pull-up bars. So they have one athlete at each bar, and as soon as one drops, the other one goes up. Extremely
good. It's all about managing. Sometimes you gotta have things set up in an efficient manner. And Norway has definitely thought this through, and it looks like they're paying the dividends for this. They are got to be closing in near on the end here, and we're only at the 4-minute mark.
Yeah, they're way ahead of the rest of the pack at this point. So you can see Hungary is still on the. They're still in the rings. You can see Australia is on the pull-ups as well. Same as US. Sweden is still doing handstand push-ups with a couple of tall and big and heavy athletes. it's going to take some toll on the shoulders.
USA looking like they're still moving at a pretty good pace here. So the United States is definitely in the mix here. Australia as well, but Norway just putting on a show here in test number 3.
Yeah, you look at Anders Gunnarsson, the way his technique on those pull-ups, that's ridiculous. He makes it look so easy. And they're all full extension at the bottom. They're full at the top. And he's not using any momentum. Looks like they're done. Oh, man, 448. Look at that.
That's impressive. Honestly, Anders, those strict pull-ups were as fast as a lot of people's kipping pull-ups and in some cases even butterfly pull-ups.
Yeah, he would beat me easily. If I did butterfly and he did strict, he'd still win.
That's almost what you call an unfair advantage. That's just impressive. Now the battle for second going on. Team USA, Team Australia definitely in the mix here. Same with, I think even Egypt is maybe in the battle here, but United States working on those push-ups. Or sorry, pull-ups.
Yeah, pull-ups rather. Look, as the Aussies are done. Yep, Aussies are done.
Sweden trying to better their position here. They're working on their pull-ups right now. France as well. There's Egypt. United States. Again, they must go in order. Male 1, male 2, female 1, female 2. And the United States is done.
Yeah. Oh, but the 2 seconds. Egypt got beaten again by just a few seconds. So close. Looks at Sweden, Argentina is battling it out.
Didn't expect to see Sweden finish. Oh, there we go. I was expecting maybe slightly higher from them in this test, but still pretty good right in the middle of the pack nonetheless.
Yeah.
Now you see Argentina, Anders, all doing singles, and that is it for Argentina.
Yeah, they're done. It was kind of nice to see Australia come in second place. They had a bad start. They were at the bottom of the leaderboard after 2 events, so it's pretty good to see that they are going to catch up now. Second place is a really good finish for them in this event.
Yeah, you're right. They had a 10th in test 1 and a 9th in test 2. So a second place is going to help them in the standing here. So we'll see if they can build off that in test 4 coming up. South Korea, good pull-ups by their athlete on the bar right now. South Korea.
This is a team that we're really glad. This is a team we're really glad to have with us because that's a brand new federation, the South Koreans. So they just joined the iF3 just a little while ago. So it's really cool to see that they could gather a team join us for the Continental Cup.
That's great to see. Good to hear. Hoping we get more and more countries involved in this.
Yeah, of course.
But how many countries? Sorry, but how many countries overall do we have right now in the iF3?
I think we're looking about around 40 federations so far. We got a couple of new ones from Lebanon just a couple of weeks ago. So we're bringing more countries all the time. And it's looking good for the future.
Always like to hear that. Growth in the sport is great. Now Puerto Rico onto the pull-ups here and looking to close things out. Hungary, I think, was on the bar ahead of them. So Hungary should finish ahead of Puerto Rico here. We'll see if the athletes are taking their turns.
You see when you get a bit fatigued in the pull-up, that you get a bit of a swing in the pull-up, even though you try to make it strict, your body sort of sways a little bit. And as long as you are not trying to gain a momentum, that could be acceptable. But as soon as you sort of try to gain a momentum with your legs or kicking or your hips, then that's a no rep.
Again. Looks like the Puerto Rican team definitely liking the pulling movement better than the pressing movement here. They're actually moving good on the pull-ups. Team Hungary. They did get onto the pull-up bar before Puerto Rico, so you expect Hungary should hang on to finish, but Puerto Rico is moving at a bit of a quicker pace right now. As you said earlier, Puerto Rico was technically the fourth ranked team coming out of the Americas as they're taking the spot of Team Brazil.
Yeah, but that was a really close call. I think the US was actually third coming into the final test of that prelims. So I think it all came down to just a few seconds test of that last weekend. So basically, it was like anybody could have joined, could have made it.
And again, we're glad that Puerto Rico on short notice was able to join us here this week, as we're getting to the 10-minute mark. Athletes have a 20-minute time cap for this, but Team Puerto Rico will not need the full 20 minutes at all. Again, this is the one big large running clock that we're using, the iF3. So right now, this test started at the 50 minute mark and goes to the 70-minute mark. If they finish underneath that 20-minute cap, the rest is rest time, and that is it. Team Puerto Rico has finished, and we will update our leaderboard. And Team Norway, no surprises here, extending their lead. But Team Argentina now in a tie for second with the United States, 1 point up on Team Sweden, 1 point behind at 12. And Egypt only 2 points behind at 14 points. Egypt, very strong showing here so far.
Yeah, the Norwegian team are showing the strength. First, second, first. So they're actually pulling themselves ahead of the competition. But it's going to be a really close call between, for the rest of the podium, Argentina, US, and Sweden. Also Egypt, like you said. It's looking really good. It's going to be exciting for the rest.
Great.
Welcome to the Continental Cup Finals, Teams Event 4 and Event 5. These are the team's relay events. Team Event 4 starts off with male athlete 1 and female athlete 1. Those two athletes are going to be completing an AMRAP. Minute number 1 of this workout. Male or female athlete 1 will be starting with 1 minute max repetitions double unders. while that athlete is doing 1 minute of double unders, the other athlete is doing 1 minute of power snatches at 30 kilos. After that 1 minute is up, those athletes will then switch. The person on the double unders will then be completing 1 minute of power snatches at 30 kilos. The person on the power snatches will then be completing 1 minute of double unders. These two athletes will go back and forth in that fashion until 4 rounds of each movement is up or 8 minutes on the clock is up. Your score will be your max repetitions accumulated between both in that 8 minutes. At the finish of that workout, at the 8 minute clock, all athletes will then rest for 2 minutes. After that 2 minute rest, male athlete 2 and female athlete 2 will commence Teams Event 5. Teams Event 5 is the exact same style of workout as Teams Event 4, but this one will now have 45 kilo power snatches rather than 30 kilos. This one also is an 8 minute clock where one athlete will complete 1 minute of double unders, the other athlete will complete 1 minute of power snatches at 45 kilos. After that 1 minute is up, those athletes will then switch and they'll complete 1 minute max reps of the opposite movement. These athletes will go back and forth for their 8 minutes total for a score of max total reps. Teams Event 5 will be completed by male athlete 2 and female athlete 2. Have fun with this one, guys.
All right, here we go. Test number 4, mixed relay 1 in our 2020 iF3 Continental Cup team finals. So this one's a little bit different. We're working in pairs here. So we have 1 male, 1 female working together as a pair. Test number 4 here is mixed relay 1. They're following this with mixed relay 2, which will have the other pair. But this one, we have an AMRAP on that 8 minute clock in case you just missed the test description. Athlete 1 will be performing double unders. AMRAP double unders is as many reps as possible in 60 seconds, while the other athlete is doing power snatches, as many as they can in a minute, at 30 kilos or 65 pounds. At the 1 minute mark, athletes will switch spots. So whoever is on the power snatches will then do double unders, and whoever was on the double unders will then do power snatches. And they're going to alternate a total of 8 times and for 8 minutes, and total amount of reps between double unders and power snatches is they're going to be their accumulative score. They're sharing the same bar, 30 kilogram bar, and again, they have their own ropes obviously, but 30 kilogram bar for both athletes. So Anders, what do you think the strategy is in this one?
Well, it looks like because they're doing it when they're done with this event, they're going to do the same event, but the other 2 athletes are going to do the same event, but the barbell is going to be heavier. So it looks like they had the stronger athletes on the second part, which is test 5. I'm not really sure what they are looking at now. Obviously you would get, 1 double under would equal a 1 power snatch, and obviously you would want to save yourself for the double unders because that's easier to get a lot of reps.
Yeah, definitely. At the same time, I guess you definitely can't dog it on the power snatches here. You still got to be making sure you're accumulating reps, but I definitely agree with you. You probably want to really focus your attention on the double unders. And this one is probably going to favor the teams who are the most efficient at double unders, who can, where the athletes can maybe sit into a nice pace and can actually use that time as almost a rest and recovery time doing the double unders.
Yeah, that's true. We can see that we got some. Unfortunately, we don't have any scores from Norway, France, or Australia. But we can see from the rest of the team after 2 rounds. Looks like we've got South Korea at top, 253 reps. So they're stringing them out. Like I said, if you get a lot of double unders, you can get around 100 double unders in a minute. It's not a problem for these athletes. They do it all unbroken, so they just keep going. You can see in Norway that Anders Grønstuen is actually resting. Last 5 seconds, he's moving away from the bar, so that as soon as he gets the 1 minute mark, he can start doing double unders.
Yeah, as I said, in Norway, they just have this dialed in so well that Again, they'll bite those, 5 seconds maybe of getting out another extra couple reps on the power snatches to make sure that they're ready to go on the double unders. Because you're right, that's where the reps really accumulate and you get more bang for your buck per second, basically.
Yeah, and you can see in Sweden, he's not even touching the barbell. So he's resting because he wants to string as many double unders as possible. While you look at the Argentina team, that the girl from Argentina, she started her double unders, maybe 7 or 8 seconds into the minute because she was exhausted from the snatches.
So yeah, now you're seeing how the strategy in this pays off. So we are just coming up to the halfway point of test number 4. This is mixed relay number 1. Then we're going to follow it up with mixed relay 2, which will have the other male-female pair with a slightly heavier bar for the power snatches, where we're going to jump it up to 45 kilograms or 100 pounds, depending on which measurement system you're using. So again, just over halfway. 8 minutes is the total time that we're doing test number 4. And it looks like Norway, very quick transitions, moving very well. Nice muscle snatch there by the Norwegian athlete.
Yeah, you can see by the pace that it's like you said, we don't have the numbers, but my guess is that Norway is ahead of the pack. And also you can see basically the same thing for the Australian team. They're doing the same thing. You can see that Kata is not touching the barbell. He's just waiting the final 5 seconds. He's just getting ready to do double unders. So there you go. As soon as he hits the 1 minute mark, he picks up the double under and just keeps those reps coming.
Yeah, you made a very good point, Andrew. Just saw that Norway, and I didn't even notice, but Australia too. Norway definitely at about the 45-second mark of the round came off of the power snatch bar, put it down. He just finished doing some very relaxed pace muscle snatches, and then gave himself about 15 seconds of recovery time to looks like he's now hitting the double unders hard, and it's been unbroken since the 5-minute mark.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, 30 kilos for Anders Gansund, that's a piece of cake. It's like nothing. So you can see when he does it with it very easy, and just muscle snatching it.
And to be fair, even the female athlete there was muscle snatching it with very little effort too. So the 2 Norwegian athletes, manhandling that, or woman handling the power snatch bar and making it look very easy. And there you go again. If you look at the top left of your corner, Team Norway looks to be in the lead here. Very easy muscle snatches. And then you should see at about the 6:45 mark, he'll put down the bar and go give himself some recovery time before hitting the double unders one more time. Looks like a few of the other teams that are moving at a pretty good pace. Like you said, Australia, definitely, you got to think with their strategy, they're going to be in the mix. And France seeming to be moving pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, they've been doing the same tactics as well. They as soon as the minute hits, they just go wrapping out double unders, and just getting this, getting enough rest to be fresh when you start with the double unders. That's going to help you a lot.
And we are into our final minute here in test number 4, mixed relay 1. And if you're just joining us, that is one athlete doing double under.
US is catching up. Only 5 reps behind South Korea.
Oh boy, this is getting interesting now. Never know what can happen here. One trip up on the rope, maybe a couple trip ups. But again, if you're just joining us, one athlete doing the max double unders, while the other athlete is doing AMRAP power snatches each minute. And then at the minute mark, they switch. This is our final minute, 22 seconds remaining. See Team Norway definitely looking like the team to beat, though. We'll see how it shakes out in 10 seconds when we get a leaderboard here.
I think the winners is going to be somewhere around, just below 1,000, so 900 something for the best win. Let's see, we get the scores now. Oh, there it is. Wow.
88. That is unbelievable over 120 reps ahead of second place Australia. That is unbelievably impressive, and we did not think it would be that big of a gap.
No, that was impressive. Yeah, as you see, Norway takes it.
No surprises here. Norway taking first place in test number 4, so 3 firsts and a second now. And they are running away with the Continental Cup. 11 points ahead of second place United States, who's only 2 up on Sweden and 3 up on Argentina. So anything can happen here. Still got 2 tests to go, but the battle for the second and third is extremely tight right now.
Yeah, it's a close call. It's going to be exciting to see what happens. See if they run the same tactics for the second leg of this double workout.
Now the bar will get heavier in test number 5.
There's only 2 minutes between the workouts, but it's not the same athletes anyway. So I'm guessing that the ones that didn't do test 4, that they've been watching closely what happened. Whether they get fatigued or wherever they go. So it looks like they're getting ready soon to start test 5.
Figure Team Norway, they had that strategy set up well. You got to figure their other pairs are going to be doing it the exact same way. Same with Australia and France. But again, that heavier bar, it's 50% heavier. So it's a big difference.
Yeah. 45 kilos is, you can still power and or muscle snatch if you're a guy. Most guys can do that. For the females, it's going to be a little bit heavier. You can see that the Argentinian male athlete, he's not too hard, but he's not rushing it because he wants to be fresh when it gets to the double unders as well.
You see the Norwegian lady, she just doing single power snatches, which is probably going to be the way for most of these female athletes at this weight. Again, the weights have gone up here in test number 5. 45 kilograms, 100 pounds for those using the imperial system. So it's definitely significant weight on that bar, but again, nothing that the men or the ladies can handle at a pretty good pace. And we are getting up to the first switch at the 1 minute mark here. We see athletes already trading off. And it looks like Norway, Sweden, 2 of the teams moving very quickly. Again, as Anders had mentioned in test number 4, the way you want to do this, if you're coming off of the power snatches, you want to give yourself about 15 seconds, give yourself a good rest and be ready to go at the top of that minute so you can hit the double unders for a full minute of unbroken reps.
Yeah, but you can see if you compare Norway and Sweden now, for the Norwegian athlete Morten Rasch Arnesen, he's not a problem at all doing 45 kilos. But if you watch the Swedish team, Team Holmgren, that's the guy who easily does 100 kilo snatch, but he's barely touching the barbell because he wants to get all reps for the double unders and be really fresh on that one.
And see, now we're just about 5 seconds away from switching it up again, and athletes are ready and switch is made immediately. So yeah, you're right, Anders. Again, barely touching that bar. No sense in getting the shoulders more fatigued or even the heart rate higher. They're focusing their energies definitely on the double lunge. Definitely seeming to be the way to go here.
It's kind of interesting that the teams identified that sort of touching the programming. If it would have been scored as 2 separate events, for example, if all double unders total was one event and the snatch total was one event, that would have been something completely different because then you would have to get as many reps as possible out of the barbell as well. But because it's not doing that, we're just putting all the reps together. The teams have identified that as a tactical advantage.
Very smart. It's what you got to do in this. Dissect it and try and maximize your scoring. So teams have definitely found that 4 and 5. We have about 5 minutes to go. Number 4 here in test number 5. Again, one athlete doing max double unders or AMRAP double unders, while the other athlete is accruing reps on the power snatch. The weight of the bar is 45 kilograms or 100 pounds, and the athletes are using the same bar. Male and female athletes both using the same bar. So the ladies are having to lift that same 100 pounds that the men are.
Yeah, if you look at the scores now after 3 rounds, you can see that the U.S. is slightly ahead of Sweden, and we got at the same place as France. So U.S., Sweden, France, and we know that Norway they're good at this, so they're probably going to be up there as well. We don't have their scores, unfortunately, but it's going to be a tight race between the 3 of them.
And there we go. We have 4:53 now for Sweden, 4:51 for the United States, and 4:44 for France. So South Korea as well not too far behind. South Korea creeping into the top half of this test here. So good to see them staying competitive. As we are halfway through round number 5. Again, Team Norway, Team Sweden, Team USA doing very well here in test number 5. They're probably the teams to be watching. As you can see, USA and Sweden both 10 reps ahead of France here after 4 rounds.
One thing you have to remember is, speaking of South Korea just then, that it was that they actually also had 2 athletes in the individual finals, one in the males and one in the females, which is very impressive. 2 individuals and a team in the finals their first year as a federation. That's it's really impressive.
It's great to hear, especially the newer teams breaking into the finals like this. Definitely look forward to seeing more new teams hopefully breaking into the top tier here. As we are now 5.5 minutes in, and it looks like USA and Sweden both at 5:63.
Wow.
So great battle here between the United States and Sweden. Norway, unfortunately, we don't have a total for their scores, but I figure they're going to be right near the top as well. France and South Korea not far behind. And again, just like clockwork, our male athlete for Norway, waiting to start on his double unders, resting, stopping his set of power snatches at about the 45-second mark.
And you see there the Marie Gryte, who just did the double unders for Norway. She's just walking slowly over to the barbell. She's going to make 2 or 3 reps maybe, just doing singles and then getting back to the double unders to get the reps in.
Yeah, even if you, at this point, if you're going to really try and go get as many reps as you can here, that was 3 reps in about 15 seconds for Norway there. You're really, even if you're going at a good pace, you're going to get maybe at most 12 reps really in the 1 minute now. So like you said, you're better off just maximizing your rest and being ready to go.
If you just compare it, if you would do like 10 or 12 snatches in that minute, if you work the full minute, when you get back to the barbell, if you miss 10 seconds out of the from the rope, if you miss 10 seconds from the rope, that's gonna be like 20, 30, or 40 reps. So it's you don't gain anything from that. Looks like we lost Ryan, or did we lose me? Yeah, well, anyway. So we're just going to keep the last 30 seconds. We've got some connection issues with our host there. So last 20 seconds of this workout. And Sweden was actually 5 reps ahead when it came to the final minute. So ahead of US and just ahead of France as well. But last 10 seconds of this workout, and I think they're just battling and taking as many reps as possible now because there's nothing else to watch for.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, there it is. So actually, Sweden takes first place, 944 reps. They beat Norway, 929. So it's 15 reps ahead of Norway. First place for Sweden. That's their first win of this event. US taking third at 904 reps, and then France at 865. So Norway still ahead. First, second, and second. So they are 12 points ahead of the US. But they're good. It's tight race between the U.S. and Sweden. 19 points equal, just ahead of France. Who so looks like we got Norway, U.S. and Sweden battling for the podium spots.
Technical difficulty there. I'm back.
Welcome.
And just wait for our test number 6 description.
Welcome to the final event of the Continental Cup Finals for the teams. This event is test number 6, the power test. Every athlete will be completing this test. This test is a 2K road time trial. Throughout this test, each athlete will be completing 500 meters in the order of female athlete 1, female athlete 2, male athlete 1, male athlete 2. One athlete must complete 500 meters before moving on to the next, and then to the third, and then to the fourth. This is the final event of the day. Your score is your time to complete or your meters completed at the end of the 10-minute time cap from the 1 hour 45 minute mark to the 1 hour 55 minute mark. The last event, guys, have fun with this one.
All right, test number 6, our strategy test, and we are going to finish off the same way we started with a row, but half the distance now, and we will, this one go female 1, female 2, male 1, male 2. Each athlete going to do 500 meters on the concept 2. Pretty much it's going to be a quick hitter, Anders.
These athletes they're going to be, you can see the Norwegian girls, they did like 138. They're going to stay about 140. So it's going to be a quick one. I'm expecting something like, a minute 45 on the 5. and maybe down to a minute 30 for the men.
Yeah, you gotta kind of figure out that's going to be where it's at now. Again, it's only a 10-minute time cap for these athletes. They shouldn't need much more than probably sub 7 for a lot of these teams is what you gotta be thinking here. And see Team Norway top of the leaderboard as we're zoomed in on their feed right now.
But I think the most exciting part is going to be the race for the second place. You saw the U.S. and Sweden; there are 19 points tied after 5 events. So basically, whoever comes first of those two is going to take the silver spot for the event, for the entire competition.
Again, Sweden, they've had a lock on that second place podium spot for 3 years now, and they're looking to try and get it for a 4th consecutive year, but they're going to have to try and hold off the United States. Like Anders said, they are tied coming in to test number 6. So 19 points, both teams, winner take all here for second place. But Norway pretty much has a lock on the top spot overall.
It's going to be hard to beat Norway. But if you look at the scoreboard on your right side, you can see that Sweden and Argentina, they switched second place equal, and US is only at 6th place right now for the first switch. So it's going to be exciting to see what happens.
See the South Koreans there and Team Egypt. Egypt again, been very impressive here so far. They as you had mentioned in a few of the other tests, only a couple seconds from shaving off some points off their overall score. So they've been very competitive pretty much every single test.
You saw they had some interesting strategy. They had two athletes holding on to the rower and lying on the ground, just to, I think it's, to make sure that all the power goes into that flywheel and not moving the rower. But we'll see if that works.
And you see now the American athlete pulling hard there at the top. She's definitely got a strong row for the American team. Remember her from the preliminary round. She was, had a very good row going on when it was her turn on the row. And once again, she's digging deep with those big, strong, long pulls.
Yeah, that's impressive. You can see now that Norway just made the switch in the first place. Sweden is on second place, followed by Argentina now. So Sweden is keeping ahead of the US, which is the most important for that event. You can see them. This is Oscar Andersson for Sweden. He's down at 125, which is a pretty good pace. I'm guessing the US athlete is not far behind.
Yeah, I figure it's going to be close. Again, this American team, quite a, in terms of stature and size, the United States team is definitely one of the biggest teams out of the 10. So they should fare pretty decently well on the concept 2 here. But again, Sweden and Norway have some great rowers on their teams.
Yeah, it looks like Oscar is catching up because he's at third 50 and he's only 20 meters behind the Norwegian athlete. But then again, it's their smaller athlete rowing right now, and that is not his strength. So they have their better rower on the final leg. And we'll see. I'm not really familiar with the US athlete, so I can't really decide on that. But you can see Oscar is pulling heavily on the last 10 meters, and he's done. Yes, they go switching just a few seconds behind Norway, and there comes the US as well.
So Norway, Sweden, USA, Egypt, Argentina.
You can see the Norwegian athlete. He's rowing at the 120 pace.
Wow. Very impressed by this Egypt team here. I have to admit, they've had a very strong showing today so far.
Yeah, the Egyptians have a good federation going. They got some good business and they do. They do good things, and they looks like they have some big athletes. They came to Sweden last year to participate for the individuals as well. Some really big and strong athletes that showed them. Abdul Rahman Saluman, he was in the individuals last week as well. That's in the prelims. I think he came in pretty. I think it was 4th for the men's division for the Africa continent. So they're doing a good job, and it's really good to see them develop their organization as well. It's getting close now.
It is. We're near the end.
Team Holmgren is who's going to take it? Norway, Sweden. Get the score for the US. Come on. There you go.
Third. So that means Sweden will finish second.
Fourth consecutive. It's a four-peat, second place for Sweden.
Right.
I don't know if it's a blessing or a curse, or what is it? But they seem to get beaten by those Norwegians all the time.
Well, very impressive getting all those seconds, but they'd love to have a first eventually.
They would. They really would. So Norway takes it. Sweden second place. There we go. That's a big win. Congratulations, Norway.
Yes, a huge congratulations to Team Norway on their 3rd consecutive title. Sweden with their 4th consecutive second place finish, and rounding out the podium, the United States finishing 3rd at 22 points. A great showing by the United States.
Yeah, great job.
Again, France, Argentina, Australia, great job. South Korea, Egypt, Puerto Rico, and Hungary. Again, huge congratulations to all the teams that took part this year, and thanks for doing our online competition. We know it was not what we all wanted to do, but we want to thank all the federations for putting in their teams this year.
Yeah, we're looking forward to be able to welcome everybody to do the live event pretty soon. So next year maybe we'll see you guys in Australia or something. That would be great.
All right, from Anders and myself, Ryan Jarvis, thank you all for tuning in, and we look forward to seeing you in 2021, hopefully in person. Good night, everybody.